Hello and welcome to Top Shelf Books. If you're joining us for the first time, our bookcast is going to focus on a topic and hopefully introducing you to some of the key books about that topic, as well as something off the beaten path, something new. And you can always visit me at Books and Piles on Tumblr to see what is in my TBR. This is the second part of episode 9 because I found too many books on cats to be included in a single episode. So if you are still here listening to me ramble about cats, thank you. I am surprised, impressed, I appreciate you, and I am going to introduce you to more of the cats in my life. That's kind of the treat that you get. In the first part of the episode, we looked at the historical background of cats and the science of cats and the things that we can do to give our cats a better life. In this one, we're going to be looking more at cultural things. So there is a wonderful book on cats and arts called appropriately Art Cat. There is also Cats in the Spring Rain if you are interested in Japanese art and haiku. Fantasy Cats by Barbieri, and then Wayne's Cats by Beatles. And of course, there's been a recent film about Louis Wayne and his cats. It is a rather sobering, sad film, but his art is cheery and beautiful, as befits our feline friends. I suspect that by this point I have given myself away as one of those crazy cat people. In my defense, I will say that most of the cats in my life were brought here by the love of my life, who manages to tell other people that they're my fault. But really it was a joint effort. So books about cat people. There's Another Insane Devotion. I love that one specifically for the title. There are many, many cat gift books in the world, so I just want to touch on a few. Cat Lover's Daily Companion and Cat Lover's Treasury. If you have a cat lover in your life, these are really cute to include in gift baskets. There's Corda's Cat People, talking about the humor and the challenges of living with cats, and I never miss a chance to talk about Terry Pratchett because I love his writing so much. So The Unadulterated Cat from Terry Pratchett. I promised you more cat pictures as a treat for listening to me, tolerating me. Here is the magnificent Pig. Putting your face into his belly fluff is worth all sorts of therapy, and he doesn't mind at all. He is our biggest guy. He is 17 pounds. His brother is 7, so genetics are strange. They eat the same exact thing. Pig's original name was Bialystok, after the character in The Producers, because of his lovely tuxedo, but he has turned into just plain old wonderful Pig. It was difficult for me to pick out books that centered on individual cats to share with you, so I've tried to pick a variety. The most well-known, of course, is Dewey the Library Cat, and if you are a reader, of course, the cat book combination is pretty irresistible. A recent publication is My Life in a Cat House by Cooper, very cute book. There's Alfie the Doorstep Cat, Bono, and a cat named Darwin. And then I have included All My Cats by Rattle here, and I'm going to do something that sort of feels against my soul as a reader and tell you that if you are a cat lover, do not read this book. It was sent to me to review when I was helping out with a publishing house, and the person who passed it along to me said, "Oh, you love cats. This person has cats." No. There is some animal-centric violence in this book that I found very unsettling. Maybe there's some sort of cultural reason that it's included. Maybe I didn't read closely enough, but I would say if you are a cat lover, do not let someone fool you into adding this one to your TBR. I couldn't create a list of individual cats to introduce you to without including The Cat Who Came for Christmas. This is a book that I came across when I was probably too young to appreciate the author's curmudgeonly stance and his sort of battle with the cat from the title, but it's definitely a fun holiday read, and we're approaching the holidays, so that's a good one. The Cat Who Came In From the Cold, the story of Fester Cat, and Nala's World, all individual cats. And then if you want to go back a little bit in time, I really enjoy My Private Menagerie by Gaudier, and it is in the public domain now, so you can find that one for free. If you spend any time with cats, you know that part of the attraction is that they are hilarious in all of the strange things that they do. So I wanted to include some cat humor. The poetry collection, I Could Pee on This. All Cats Are Introverts. That one's after my own heart. Strange Planets volume that is dedicated to cats, the sneaking, hiding, vibrating creature, very cute. Cats Are Weird and Cats React to Dinosaur Facts. There's a whole series of Cats React to Dinosaur Facts. And I must confess to you that every year at Christmas, my brother-in-law gets a weird cat book. I can't remember why I started this tradition. I found something humorous, but every year I search out something utterly ridiculous to gift him with, and I am impressed by the variety of strange cats. So, zombie cat exists, for example, painting cats exist. It's all out there. Another cat to introduce you to. This is our oldest boy. This is Tucky Moo. Um, he was named by his original owners, Mufasa, and somehow it transmortified into Tucky Moo. He is the most wonderful, cuddly creature, and when Raz was still with us, they made an excellent team getting into trouble. I'm not sure how they communicated with one another, but they were very good at coaxing the other into knocking treats out of the cupboards. Part of the pleasure of cats is, of course, looking at photographs of them. So a more classical historical text is the photographed cats. Some that are devoted to more serious photography, Cats, the Photographs, 1942 to 2018, Cats in the Sun, and Cat's Kingdom. Catographics and Cats Rock are more on the entertaining side of cat photos. There's also a photo collection, Cats and Books, and I want it. As I record this for you, we are just passing Halloween, so it wouldn't do to leave out the presence of cats when it comes to myth and magic. So if you're feeling like a little witchcraft with some cat familiars, then you'll want Moonsong's Cat Magic. There is the Fireside Horror Stories collection dedicated to supernatural cats. There's Ghost Cats by Rain Bolt, another good Halloween read. The Mythology of Cats. And then if you want something a little more academic, there's Cat Call Reclaiming the Feral Feminine. This one's really fun because it draws some great connections between how women have sometimes been shunned or pushed to the edge of things, and how that same behavior can be targeted at cats. So the connection between women and cats. Another cat for you to meet. Here is Tiberius Wookie Paws. I call him Tiberius Bean or Tibby Bean. He's my baby. I love him best of all. Don't tell the other creatures. But he is Peeg's brother. So Peeg weighing in at 17 pounds. Tibby barely 7. No idea why. The discrepancy, but they came to us together when their mom was rescued by a relative. We got them as little baby boys, and they have been part of our lives ever since. In the episode on dogs, I introduced you to working dogs. Cats are pretty good at getting out of work, but there are titles that focus on cats on the job. So Shop Cats of New York, Working Cats by Gruber, The Cat from Way, and then Distillery Cats by Parsons. So all cats in the workforce, or at least monitoring our work in the workforce. I found it really difficult to pare down fiction books for cats, so I've tried to give you a range in terms of when things were published, and also a range in terms of genre. So The Fur Person by Sarton is animal fiction, and it is considered kind of a classic in the field. A more two that are more recent but similar in terms of being animal fiction: The Cat Who Walked 1,000 Miles and The Cat Who Saved Books. I have cats that have a ping pong ball. That's what you're hearing in the background there. Some cats in fantasy. I love pulp fantasy covers. So Brian Carter's In the Long Dark and Stephen Moore's Tooth and Claw. And then I cannot vouch for Cat Lady by O. Porter yet because I haven't read it, but it kept coming up in my searches and people were recommending it to me. So I'm passing it on to you. Let me know what you think if you get to it before I do. Meet Mochi Toledo. His full name is Mochi Toledo Shikaka Ogden, and the various secondary names are all in tribute to Jamie Farr or David Ogden Stiers. Mochi came to us from a vet student who rescued him and his siblings. They were not going to survive, so she hand raised them. And then she was called away to veterinary school in the Caribbean and was trying to place Mochi, and we were concerned that he would be given to someone who was young and who would maybe not have the patience to care for him. He was so small when we brought him home that he had to drink out of a lid taken off of a Tupperware container because anything else would have been too large. And his litter box was a cake pan that I cut the side off of because he was too tiny to get into anything else. So I was worried for a while that he wouldn't make it, but now he is big and healthy. Now, I don't want to take away from the gentlemen in the audience or our non-binary readers, but there are a lot of books out there about girls and their cats. In fact, Will's has one called Girls and Their Cats. Two titles, She and Her Cat. One is a manga, one is short stories. Cat Lady Chic. I have to confess, I love the cover here because the woman in question is chic and the cat is screaming its head off. That seems about accurate to me. And a classic that covers this topic is The Feline Mystique. If you have any excellent titles that I know there is a recent title that looks at cats in queer culture. So I'll have to find that one and add that one to the list. It just popped into my head as I was talking to you. But if you want to expand and make our cats more inclusive here, I would love to find more titles to add to the list. Cats are obviously prevalent in YA literature and children's literature. So some classics, The Cat Wings book by Le Guin, A Circle of Cats by DeLint, which unfortunately is quite expensive these days. Another expensive classic title, Frida Hurt did several books on cats. I can't afford any of them, and I regret this because I would like to add them to my list. I'm including museum kittens because I love museums and I also love kittens, so it just feels like I should introduce you to that series. The Cat I Never Named feels especially important now. It's dealing with displacement and refugees and war zones, and unfortunately we have a lot of that happening in the world right now. So if you have a young reader in your life, this is a good way to maybe have that conversation. Some other classics when it comes to kids and YA literature: The Story of the Seagull and the Cat, beautiful illustrations. Thomasina has been re-released. Unfortunately, Bradbury's with Cat for Comforter has not been republished, so it's a little tricky to get a hold of. But I love Bradbury. I do find myself comforted by that particular title. The Wild Cats of Paran and The Cat Who Came In From the Roof are for middle grade readers and hopefully a little off the beaten path. I'm always trying to introduce you to books that I hope that you haven't found on your own. So hopefully there's been something so far to pique your curiosity. Meet Henry. Henry is my second baby. There's something about brown tabbies. I don't know what it is. I was not anticipating bringing home another cat, but a colleague called and she said that her husband was going to pass away soon from cancer. And the only thing that had been bringing him joy were these feral kittens that she had been trying to feed and take care of. And she said, she was trying to um, uh, tame them, introduce them to people, and make sure they were healthy. And she said, I can't bear for them to go into a shelter because they've been bringing him joy. Would you take one of them? And at this point, I had recently adopted Mochi, and I thought, what would be really good for Mochi is someone he could pounce on. And that is how Henry came into my life. Just as there are many, many cats in every other field of writing you can imagine, there are plenty of cats in literature. I love Roger Carris's collected books of animal stories. He has several collections, and he has one for cats. If you want some poetry, there's The White Cat and the Monk, and then Geoffrey the Poet's Cats, both really fun reads, and then Literary Cats for a little more of a collection. If you want to think about how we read about and read with cats and dogs, and how we can possibly read when they're knocking ping pong balls around, then Reading Cats and Dogs is a good collection. A classic is, of course, Old Possum's Book of Practical Cats. I couldn't leave it out. Writers and their cats include both stories about writers and the cats that have inspired them and kept them company, but it's also got great photographs. And then I Am a Cat is looking at Japanese culture through the eyes of a cat, and allows it to include some satire. When it comes to genre fiction, there are so many cat books. Again, I struggled to narrow down, and I didn't want to miss things, so probably there are too many. The ones that are going to come up in the list pretty consistently if you are searching for this are Norton's Cat's Eye and McCaffrey's Catalyst. These are classic ones. There are several cat fantastic books that collect different stories about cats. And then Colt Harper, The Vampire Cat, something a little bit different. And then if you're wanting something philosophical that might just break your heart into pieces, there's If Cats Disappeared from the World. I don't regret reading it, but I will never forget it, and it made me cry. More fantasy and science fiction for you. No One Noticed the Cat by McCaffrey. The Cat from Outer Space, which was made into a terrible movie, but I had to mention it nonetheless because it does make for kind of a cute read. Mort, this one goes into a series and looks at the animal war. It's a really entertaining read. Barbary by McIntyre, The Kingdom of Cats, and then The Legacy of Blair, all different views on intelligent cats, cats brought into space, cat-like creatures in fantasy and science fiction. But wait, there's more. Another classic text is Wegel's Tamsin. Tales of Wonder and Imagination is a collection. There's Tail Chaser Song by Williams, Implied Spaces by Walter John Williams, and then Merlin the Magical Fluff I'm including for sheer cuteness factor, and hopefully because it's one that maybe has not popped up on your radar. Cat House by Peake is in the vein of something like a Watership Down. The Dark Yule is a great one for, I know we've just passed Halloween, but fits very nicely at that time of year. Time Cat by Alexander, Catswold Portal, and I never miss a chance to mention Terry Pratchett. I love Grebo. He is a wonderful cat character, and he plays obviously a part in several of the Witches books. Witches Abroad is probably my favorite Grebo cameo. I have told you, I believe, in other episodes that I am utterly addicted to books in which animals go on a rampage against people. I don't know what this psychologically means about me, and I'm not going to worry about it, but I am going to introduce you to some horrifying cats. Feral and the Cats, Burton Roche. This is the same title, but I love the covers so much that I've included both of them just so you can enjoy them. So if you're watching as well as listening, just take in the lovely pulpiness of this. Apocalypse Meow by Flowers is kind of a horror humor entry. Younger's Claw, there's Clouders, and then Hellcat by Kingsley. I think Valancourt might have recently put this one back out. I'm not 100% certain, but I think it's been republished recently. All examples of horrifying cats causing trouble in our lives. Naturally, you cannot talk about horror and cats without mentioning Pet Sematary, which I consider to be one of the scariest books I've ever read, and The Cats of Ulthar. I really enjoyed The Cats by Sharman. It's another one of those pulp books. It's really fun. The Cat Creeper by Lewis and Moggy Creatures are both shorter reads, both absolutely fun for Halloween, introducing us to more scary cats. I realize that this may seem like overkill when it comes to cat horror to introduce you to even more, but I do want you to know I am being restrained because I have not mentioned any big cats, and there's plenty of horror that centers on panthers, pumas, tigers, things of that nature. So if you need that in your life, let me know. A recent publication is The Pain Eater by Muntz. I will give you a trigger warning on this one. The cat is initially ill and abused in the beginning of the book, so something to maybe watch for. Schaefer's The Stray Cats, The Bermuda Triangle. I'm telling you, I love these pulp books. I love the stupid titles. The 13 Cats of Edith Penn, another crypto fiction classic. If you were here for the octopus episode, I mentioned crypto fiction. So Weird Tales of Weird Tales. Again, lovely title. Crypto fiction books are super fun. They recover books that maybe have slipped through the cracks and not been published recently. Twist of the Tale. Ellen Datlow does lots of series as an editor for fantasy, sci-fi, horror series, and this is one dedicated to creepy cats. When it comes to mystery and cats, there are so many cozy mysteries that really center on cats. I don't read a lot of cozy mysteries, so I didn't feel comfortable recommending any to you, but if you know some that you feel like should not be missed, I would love to add them to the list. There's great cat mysteries. I include this one because the audiobook is narrated by Jamie Farr, and that just makes me happy. Arsenic and Old Books. This one is a cozy one, and it is cute. Feel-A-Day. If you are looking at books on cats and mystery, this one's going to pop up quite often as sort of a classic in the list. Cats on the Prowl by Davis, and then Perfect Crimes, a collection of sinister felines. There are also 3 books, Cat Crimes 1, 2, and 3, that could be included in this list. Although I do not know as much about cozy mysteries as I should, 2 series that have to be mentioned if we're talking about mystery cats. Wish You Were Here, Rita Mae Brown, and then Lillian Jackson Braun's The Cat Who Could Read Backwards. Those ones will come up a great deal if you are searching cat mysteries. I also want to introduce you to The Company of Cats, Babson, in which a cat inherits money, and that, of course, becomes a problem for everyone that wants the money. The Case of Jack the Nipper by Stevens, and The Cheshire Cat Murders by Silverwood. Jack the Nipper is more on the humorous side. Cheshire Cat Murders more on the serious side. So you can find cats being versatile in the mystery world. And that wraps it up. Here are today's titles. As always, please be kind to your local librarians and help out your local booksellers and indie booksellers. There are so many books on cats that I guarantee I've missed something amazing, so please let me know about it if you think that there is something that is a grievous omission from the list. Here's looking at you to give me suggestions for what our next episodes should be about. Or if you are not feeling up to a whole episode, but there's a topic you're curious about, I would love to help you find books on that topic. Just let me know. more of today's titles and an apology for my noisy cats and a thank you for sticking with us. A reminder that not only if you are an animal lover should we read about creatures, but if you get the chance to donate to your local shelter, they are always looking for things like paper towels, garbage bags, food, old pet beds, sometimes even old clothing to line pet beds. So reach out to them if you get the chance and have the ability to do so. Still more of today's titles. I really like cats. Can you tell? Still more titles. Again, I did practice restraint when it came to the scary cats. And here are our final titles for today. As always, thank you for letting me be part of your day, for spending time with me. I would love to hear from you about books, about cats, about potential episodes. You can reach me at navalianlibrary@gmail.com. Wishing you the very best day.